All right, and this leads us into the next topic of human rights. So, human rights is not talked about much on Sunday. It's talked about a lot in the political realm. And so there's a lot of confusion between the political realm and the spiritual realm. And we kind of separate the two, separation of church and state, right? Like we don't want to try to combine these two in our brains because it's too complicated and they don't make sense. But it has to make sense. That's the problem. When we have Sunday actions and Monday through Saturday actions, and they're contradictory to each other, we have issues. We have a lot of personal internal conflicts that we don't understand, and that's why we have all these internal problems, right? We have depression, we have isolation, we have this, we have anxiety, we have this, we have that, and what does the institution say? They say, take a pill, man. That's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's your genes. It's some disease you have and you've developed, and it's not your fault. Take a pill, you feel better. We know that this is just a mask, a band-aid over the real problem. So anyway, human rights is also a very a theme that creates a lot of. It's just we have to become aware of what they are and what our rights are as human beings. So our rights as human rights, governments always are pushing human rights. If you watch the news or anything, there's always a push for activists, and these are our rights, and the laws of the land and the Constitution has certain rights that who so let's just say the United States where I live, but who gives you these rights? And this is why the institutions they push them so much, because the institution is the one that gives you these rights. And so they obviously want these rights to be very prevalent in your mind and in your brain, because then you become dependent on the institution. So, let's see some of the rights in the Bill of Rights: right to bear arms, right to free speech, right to help me out here, guys. But anyway, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all the other rights that the institution gives you, it doesn't really give you. So the only right we have, the truth is that the only human right we have are the rights that God gives you. And what does God give you? The right to free speech? I mean, you can choose to say whatever you want. You can choose to do whatever you want to do, right? That's what God gives you, free will. But does God give you the right to say something and not have any consequences, like from whatever? Because that's basically what human rights means. That you can say something without any repercussions on you. And the answer is always a resounding no. Like, God does not protect you from repercussions. Your actions always have the repercussions of this physical realm and this system we live in and this culture we live in. So God does not give you this freedom of speech. God doesn't give you that. You can say whatever the hell you want, bro. Like, that's your choice. But God's not going to say, if you do this, I'm gonna give you this right for no one to say anything, or no one not put you in jail, or whatever. That God does not give you that right. Right to bear arms, right to an attorney, right to this, right to that. God does not give you any of these rights. You can do it, but there might be consequences from the system we live in. But what right, think about this, what right does God give you? What right do you always have the right to do, no matter what? No matter what other people do or say, or what laws are put, or what country you live in, or what culture you were raised in, what does God give you the right to do? And there's one right that God gave every single human being on earth, from sea to shining sea, in the U.S., in the East, in the West, everywhere. And this is a human right that God gives you, and it's our only innate human right. And that right is the right to choose to love, which is what we want anyway. So it's innate to us. We have choice, and we have love, right? The particular, the universal, where we come from and where we're going back to. God gives us that right. So no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter what circumstances you're in, no matter what anyone is doing to you, or no matter what is happening in the external world, you always have the right to choose, of choice, to love. And this is the only right you need. Because once you do that, then the whole world opens up. The whole world becomes your oyster. I think that's how you say it. So you don't, once you exercise your God-given right, your only God-given right, then you don't need all these other rights. You need the right to bear arms. You need a right to an attorney. You need a right to free speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want, bro. Once you have love in your heart, you can say, you can do whatever you want, man. Because you have love in your heart. You can do whatever you want. You become free. So that's the truth, man. And that's what our culture has to shift towards, is this: we're dependent upon institutions and governments to give us rights. We become powerless. We become dependent upon them. Oh, please give us these rights. Please pass this law for us. We need this. No, we don't need it. We don't need any of it. We don't need any of that bullshit. All we need is what God's already given us, and it's in your heart right now.